2010, we moved to the North Shore. I started my own HVAC business, AC Solutions. One-man show. Probably 4 years into that, I started to experience what we called attacks at the time because we had no clue what it was. These attacks was kind of like a deja vu feeling with the worst fear you've ever felt in your life. It would last about 10 to 20 seconds and it was over. Those progressively got worse and worse. It went from one every 6 months to once every 3 months to once a week, twice a day, and then towards the end I was having 10 a day.
Between 2017 and 2018, it was a chase from neurologist to neurologist to try to get someone who would invest in us to take the time to not only listen to what was going on, but also think about some long-term testing. After the visit, that neurologist said, I'm going to set you up on an at-home EEG. I want you to stop all medications that you are on, and they're gonna come hook you up on a Friday, and you'll be on the machine for 3 days. She instructed that if he felt abnormal at any time, you know, to push the little button so they would indicate on the test to go back and investigate that. And by Sunday, he had become bedbound. Things progressively got worse for him as he tried each new medications, and the seizures changed to where they became more visible, and I could identify when he was having a seizure.
So from that point on, I couldn't drive anymore, so I couldn't work, couldn't drive, couldn't provide for my family. I was completely incapacitated. At that point, you don't respond to the drug. Then I was re-diagnosed with refractory epilepsy, which basically means you don't respond to the drug, you now have to have brain surgery. At that point, we said, no thanks, we're not gonna have brain surgery, we're gonna seek a second opinion. We sought 6 second opinions from every neurological specialist, epilepsy specialist we could find. Every single one of them said you have to have that part of your brain removed.
Again, they couldn't tell us why it had started, and when we asked, okay, if he has the surgery, will this stop the seizure activity? They said no, unfortunately they can't make that promise. Actually, you're more prone to seizure activity once we go in and touch the brain.
When we switched to Dr. Joe, the first visit with Dr. Joe, first or second visit, he said, AJ, since you've been doing HVAC your entire life, 20-something years, I want to check your mycotoxin levels. And that was the turning point. As a HVAC contractor, I tell people all the time, 24 years doing HVAC, I've worked on thousands of systems, and ask me how many systems I've opened up and worked on that had no microbial growth. Every single one of them, with the exception of a brand new unit. We get the results, he said there's not a scale to measure it, you're off the charts. So at that point we got serious. Okay, well, I started researching mold toxicity, and it hits the nail on the head, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why the hell these doctors don't recognize this? Like, all of this that we went through could have been avoided.
So when we left the house to have the mold remediation work done, Dr. Joe said, I absolutely do not want AJ in the house. We're in the travel trailer, 2 nights go by, AJ wakes up in the middle of the night, goes into a seizure, and it developed into a grand mal seizure. And that was next level. It was in that moment that I thought that, I literally thought my husband was dying in my arms. And if it wasn't for our daughter, she came running in, she heard me screaming, and she says, Mom, do you want me to call 911? It was like I snapped out of it. I said, yes, call 911, call 911.
According to the doctors, epilepsy is an incurable illness, and I was cured from that incurable illness. My first MRI showed brightening on the left temporal lobe, which was explained to us as brain damage from where the seizures are taking place.
And it was said that this will never go away.
Right, it was brain damage. It's permanent brain damage. So fast forward to my last MRI, the radiologist put on the report, brightening has been resolved. The brain damage was gone, it's reversed, the brain healed itself. Coming out of it, like I want to go back to each one of them and say, you might want to reconsider your protocol here, and instead of recommending surgery, let's look at a couple of other things beside, yeah, the medicine didn't work, let's go in and cut part of the brain out.